What is going on, everyone? Platinum B is coming at you with yet another video. Today we have got a topic to discuss, and that is the changes in industrial use for platinum. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so today we're going to be discussing the industrial uses for platinum in regards to the changes that have been forming and continue to form day in and day out. So we all know that this precious metal, platinum, is used in the manufacturing process of catalytic converters made for automobiles. So if you've seen my other videos, you also know that platinum is used in diesel catalytic converters, whereas palladium is used in gasoline vehicles. So there's a clear difference there, but we're not going to talk specifically about vehicles today. What we're going to talk about are the changes that have been occurring with this precious metal over time and continue to occur day in and day out. So there's one thing going for this precious metal. It's used in the filtering of emissions from catalytic converters from automobiles, right? So it has a very unique ability in that it has the ability to filter toxic fumes that your car would normally give off, but instead go through the catalytic converters, get filtered, and then the rest gets pushed out, right? And so governments of all kinds all over the world are regulating emission standards in vehicles. And they also regulate pollution levels, right? So because all of the governments regulate pollution levels and how much pollution a company or a product or whatever can give off, that could provide a very unique opportunity for platinum in the future. I've talked about how I know that trash is piling up left and right. Now, we haven't run out of room yet, but the government might start seeing trash as a big problem, and then they create regulations and things of that nature that cause trash dumps, so to speak, to figure out a different way to handle their trash intake, right? Because right now it just goes into a landfill and it just piles up and piles up and piles up and piles up. At some point we'll run out of room, right? Now, I am not a green bug, so to speak. I'm not super conservative when it comes to, recycling, things of that nature. Maybe you are, that's cool. But regardless, it will become a problem at some point in time where we will either run out of room for our trash or perhaps just need to find a different method of getting rid of it. Now, burning trash is very toxic for the environment. It gives off a lot of fumes that go into the atmosphere and create problems that they say. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be, but that's what they say. And so right now, burning is not an option. Some countries do it, and it is really, really bad. And so platinum could come into play if they ever need to or decide to burn their trash, and they need to filter out the toxins that are normally released in the smoke and things of that nature for getting rid of garbage. So, but what I specifically want to talk about in this video today is the industrial uses for platinum changing. So I get the question a lot. I mean, a lot. It's probably like 50% of my questions. People say, what do you think about auto manufacturers moving away from gas-powered vehicles and into electric? And my opinion is always the same. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm going to explain why. Platinum could prove itself to be useful in the manufacturing of electric vehicles. Right now, and what a lot of people don't realize is that electricity comes from what is known as a power plant, right? It's not a natural forming energy. It has to be created. Now, there are natural ways to create it, wind, solar, and water, but those are not sustainable on any real level. At the current time, only about 1, 2, 3% combined is electricity created using wind, solar, and water. It's not very common, it's not very highly used, and it's a very I believe, costly way of creating electricity. It is used, don't get me wrong, but it's not very used on a wide basis. So where does the rest come into play? So there are coal-burning power plants still. Those are kind of going away as time goes on. There's natural gas power plants as well, and those don't give off nearly as much emissions as gasoline or diesel. And there's also, I believe, they lump it all into a category of fossil fuels. So I don't know if that's necessarily the same fuel that we use in our automobiles, but there's fossil fuel power plants. That's probably the most used form of power plant that we have right now at the current time. Now, a lot of that consists of natural gas, but that still gives off a little bit of emissions, but it burns way cleaner than automobiles. But the rise in electric cars will cause the rise in the need for either larger or more power plants across not only the nation, but the world, really, if the world takes hold. Now, another thing I want to talk about is there are certain countries that are more third world, second world type, and they don't currently have any regulations on emissions because they just are not that advanced, right? They're not a Western country, and so their country hasn't caught up with the times and started requiring that auto manufacturers implement catalytic converters. So the rise in that with developing countries and underdeveloped countries and things of that nature could increase the overall value of platinum. But what I also want to talk about today and give more reason and more depth on why I'm not concerned with automobiles moving away from using catalytic converters and platinum in their catalytic converters, as well as palladium, is because of this. So this metal is used in more than just auto manufacturers. It's used in medical field, it's used in the dental field, it's used in jewelry, it's used to create certain indestructible, so to speak, tools. If you had a drill bit made out of platinum, it would be very, very difficult to break. It would also be very, very expensive, so it's not used in just everyday normal aspects. If you go to your local hardware store and you buy a drill, chances are it's got a steel drill bit or maybe like aluminum or some cheaper metal such as that. And if you break it, you probably only paid a couple bucks for it, so it's not that hard to replace. And buying one made out of platinum is going to run you a few $100s, I presume. But there are certain aspects and certain areas of life that require mistakes not to be made, right? If you break a drill bit drilling a screw into your wall, chances are you can repair the wall, you can repair the drill, and it's not going to cost you a whole bunch. But if you are drilling into the earth or something, or some other aspect where you can't really afford mistakes, platinum is the most dense and really one of the most toughest metals on earth. So it's very hard to break and deform and things of that nature. So there's a lot of different industries I just mentioned where platinum is used. It's not just the auto manufacturers. Now, I have made my guess on when gasoline-powered cars will fully go away. I think about 10 years from now, it'll be 50-50 gas, electric, right? So in 2030, half the cars might be electric on the ground, and the other half might be gas. The thing I want y'all to keep in mind is people are buying new cars today, and most of them are gas-powered, right? Very few people are actually buying Teslas, and very few auto manufacturers have actually implemented electric cars in their vehicle lineups. Now, most of them have at least one or two maybe, but it's not even half of their whole lineup of cars. If you go buy a pickup truck, it's gas. If you go buy a minivan, I don't believe there's an electric minivan right now, so that's gas. If you go buy just your average crossover SUV, it's probably going to be gas, unless it's maybe a Tesla. I don't think they have any electric crossover SUVs right now. I know some are in the works and things of that nature, but there's been a lot of vehicles that have been announced and released, and they're not electric, right? I'm a big Ford fan, so I really like the Ford Bronco. They just announced that they just announced they're going to re-release the Ford Bronco, and they're only offering gas engines, at least from the start. Now, they might add an electric option later on, but at the start, it's going to be gas. So what does that mean? People are going to be buying brand new cars in 2021, 2022, and they're going to be gas, most likely. They're going to be using gas or maybe diesel, right? And so people aren't just going to buy a brand new car that runs on gas, and then gas cars are just gone in 2 years and gas stations close up shop and they can't get any gas for their car that's only a couple years old. So if people buy new cars today, chances are at the very least those cars should last 10 years. And we are seeing an introduction of more electric options across the board on all the auto manufacturers. So that is a growing field. But if they are selling gas cars and selling more gas cars than electric right now, I think 10 years from now, those gas cars that are being sold today will still be on the road unless they were in some type of accident. So what happens when we hit the 50-50 mark, right? Half gas, half electric cars on the road. Well, what happens then is obviously the need for platinum and catalytic converters goes down, right? But I just mentioned a few minutes ago about how the other industries are using platinum as well. And those, one thing that people don't notice is those industries are growing. Year by year, they're almost doubling. Now, they started out very small, but if they double every year, they grow into something very big. And those fields like medical and dental and things of that nature are those similar types of fields where you can't really afford for things to go wrong, right? So those are fields where mistakes are not really affordable, so to speak. And so because those industries are growing year in year and the auto manufacturer industry is slowly declining as far as them using gas, I think by the time we fully get rid of electric or gas vehicles and diesel vehicles, the other industries will have grown so much that the need for auto manufacturers and their use of platinum won't even really need to be existing anymore. It'll help, but realistically, what I see is this. This ounce of platinum at the current spot price is worth about $1,050 just in platinum alone. Obviously, it's an Eagle; it has a premium, things of that nature. But this is worth about $1,000, $1,050 right now at spot price. If the auto manufacturers continue to decline, but the other industries continue to increase, if this is worth $1,050 now, it'll probably be worth $1,050 then, plus inflation, right? Because the price of goods go up with inflation no matter what those goods are. A lot of people say that, oh, platinum doesn't move with inflation like gold and silver. In my opinion, I think that's kind of like a foolish way of thinking, because that's like saying, oh, milk doesn't go up with inflation, or gasoline doesn't go up with inflation, or clothing, or the new iPhone, or a new TV, or really anything you purchase is going to go up with inflation. So it's kind of foolish to say that, the price of platinum won't go up with inflation. So if you think about it, if it's at $10.50 an ounce and gas-powered cars are the majority of cars on the road, if the other industries increase and gas decreases and it just kind of flips itself, and this remains $10.50 10 years from now at 2%, you'd be looking at $1,150, $1,200, right? Because the value hasn't necessarily gone up or down, but inflation has caused it to go up because the value of the dollar is less. So platinum does move with inflation, just like every other thing you purchase moves with inflation, right? The same could be said going backwards. This 1 ounce of platinum being worth $10.50, it wouldn't be worth $10.50 50 years ago. Why? Because $10.50 was like a house or something. I don't know if it was quite that extreme, but $10.50 was way more than it is today. So I personally believe that platinum does move with inflation. A lot of people will say it doesn't. I think it does. And in my opinion, I'm not worried one bit about the auto manufacturers' decline in use of platinum, because I think the other industries in which it is used are increasing year by year. And then one last tidbit I want to mention is, because this metal is so rare and hard to find and hard to mine and change in a way, I think that the supply will not keep up with necessarily the demand, because the population continues to increase year over year. And with population increases, that increases the amount of medical and dental and just overall needs, industrial, of this metal. So the Earth has a finite amount of platinum. And if the industries continue to increase and the population continues to increase, then we will see platinum most likely go way up in value, because it will become, it can't technically become more rare than it is. It is more rare than gold, and it always will be, because the Earth has less of it than gold. But it will become more rare in the instance of there's only so much, and it's getting harder to find, and people need it, right? So the industrial use is changing very much so in platinum, and I am not concerned one bit about the auto manufacturer's eventual ending of the use of the metal. And again, I think that's at least a solid 10 years out. I mentioned about cars lasting at least 10 years, and they're selling brand new cars today. So I don't really see it going away anytime in the near future. I'll probably make another video talking about, once platinum isn't used in cars, like where will we be? But that's going to be another topic for another video. Today, I just specifically wanted to talk about the changes in the industrial use for this metal and why I'm not concerned with auto manufacturers eventually no longer needing this metal to be put into their vehicles that they produce. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out my other videos. I have a lot of great topics that I cover, mostly consisting of platinum, but also other precious metals. Thank you to all my loyal followers. Thank you to any new people. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below. And with all that being said, guys, until next time, we will see you.